before we take our cocktail break, we have Kristen Hugo giving her third talk on America versus Coyotes.
So the story of America is a story of wildlife, or at least it is to me. I'm kind of obsessed with animals, but you guys all should be too, and this is why. The story of America is also a story of hunting, of driving people and animals off their land, of destroying nature, and of conserving nature. And a big part of the conservation conversation is Teddy Roosevelt. If you know about the history of conservation in America, I'm sure you've heard of the things that he wanted to do with our public lands and how he protected them, and also how he slaughtered a bunch of animals.
National parks!
Yeah. Well, he really originally wanted to kind of just like destroy like massive parts of the predator population. Like, what is the point of like anything that eats meat? But he failed to kill off the coyotes, and we are still failing to kill them off to this day. So historically, yeah, yeah, it's true. Well, is he? What? Yeah, I know. Right? So you probably know this from like the human perspective, and it extends to the wildlife. See, colonists considered, well, both humans and predators to be competitors. If you want to go eat that deer, but the wolf wants to eat the deer too, you're going to say, well, just kill the wolf first. If you kill all the deer and put some cows on some land, but then the cougar comes in and is like, I don't know where the deer are, I got to eat these cows, you say, let's kill the cougars. You also look at the coyotes, who are like 35 pounds, and you're like, well, they're probably eating deer and stuff. Let's kill them off too. It turns out they were not, but, you know, shoot first, ask questions never. And yeah, exactly. And when you put in a new neighborhood over some land, the animals that already live there, they're going to have issues with you. They might even come and eat your crops or your pets. So hatred of coyotes is now very personal for a lot of people. And in fact, I was a little bit worried putting together this presentation because I know somebody is going to have a very emotional reaction. But if you've ever had your beloved cat or your prized bull or even just the deer that you wanted to shoot eaten by an animal, you're going to hate that animal, even if what they were doing was completely natural. So we have thought of a lot of ways to kill coyotes and other predators. I mean, yeah.
An aerial gun.
Yeah. I don't know which one your reaction to. Maybe the one with the puppy. Yeah, so when you're considered a pest animal, there aren't really a lot of regulations as to what kind of ways you can kill the animal. And a lot of hunters will just say the only good coyote is a dead coyote, so they don't really care. They don't really, you know, what is like animal welfare? It's just, we're just gonna have a bloodbath with non-target casualties left and right. Who cares? So in the mid-20s, the hunters and farmers and such, they kind of decided, you know, we don't really have time to kill all these coyotes. Let's enlist the help of the government. So the U.S. Bureau of Biological Survey came in, and they started from the mid-20s to mid-30s. They killed about 35,000 coyotes a year. And now we have a, you know, much better group called Wildlife Services, created by the USDA. And as you can tell from the name, Wildlife Services, the main job is to kill wildlife. Yeah, in 2018, they killed 2.6 million animals, 1.5 million of which were native species. It was actually mostly birds, but of the mammals, it was mostly coyotes. So that was 68,000 coyotes. And it's only partially subsidized by the government, but that cost taxpayers $100 million in 2018. By contrast, the Endangered Species Act cost $12 million. So, this rivalry goes very, very deep, even financially. And, but coyotes, though they're so much smaller and less formidable than the wolves, they're very, very weird. I mean, if you want to know more, I really recommend this book, Coyote America by Dan Flores, especially because I learned a lot about coyotes from it. And if you lived in New York, you should be giving this talk. But But, okay, so you would think that killing off a lot of animals, that is going to reduce their populations a lot. And that's true in a lot of cases. Obviously, elephants and rhinos and the passenger pigeons, we kill them all. But, okay, coyotes, they're this true survivor. They're flexible, they're cautious, they're very smart. They can change their behavior. They can form packs or be solitary. And they can breed with wolves and dogs. You could have a 12% dog, 18% coyote, and the rest wolf. Not fox though, those are different. So this is how our war on coyotes has gone pretty much. The coyote population, despite our attempts to kill them, has only increased. And this is why. By killing off the wolves, we offer the coyotes more room to expand and spread into other territories that they didn't exist before. The stress of being hunted and poisoned led them to fracturing their family groups, so they would spread out and start new families in states that they weren't even before. They also are able to raise more pups into adulthood when they know that there's more resources available because there's no other predators around. So, congratulations, we played ourselves. So, wildlife services, it's very controversial. A lot of biologists kind of just say that they're nonsense. Not all, though, and they've been caught breaking a lot of laws, and they've been sued a bunch of times. But they do have a really big and really difficult job. How are you going to make people and wildlife coexist? And to their credit, at least in their literature, they do recommend non-lethal forms of managing predators. For example, if you are going to birth animals, you should do it in a barn, not out in the field. Maybe you can put a better fencing. You can also get guard animals like dogs, llamas, and donkeys. Yeah, llamas and donkeys, like, yeah, they I mean, they're huge. I mean, like, a coyote's 35 pounds. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, I understand why people, like, get mad at them for eating their chihuahuas. And with this approach, maybe we can live in a world where coyotes don't bother us as much, but maybe we're not slaughtering them by the millions either. The question is this, oh yeah, this is Pizza Yote. Cute, right? Actually, I wrote an article about this photo for Newsweek, and then someone made a t-shirt out of it, so I was very proud of that. So, but the question is it going to work? It sounds nice to just scare off the coyotes with llamas, but...
Does it?
Yeah, because then they're just scared, and then they go eat like a field mouse or something. It's fine. But can we do it? Can we hunt the way we want to hunt, farm the way we want to farm, live the way we want to live, let our cats outside, you know, in spite of like everything that biologists recommend, without worrying about the coyotes eating them? And the answer is, I have no idea, neither does anybody else. Wildlife service science is so... Science! Finally, that's the whole talk. But it's so protean. It's changing all the time. People are coming up with new great ideas, but finding out that yesterday's great idea was a terrible idea. So, like, no one really knows what they're doing, and, I mean, sometimes people do, but then there's also the political parts, where a scientist has an idea, but then a politician who's funded by a certain person has a different idea. So, it's really hard to know when stuff makes sense. Sometimes it does, but I'm just telling you, like, you're not going to be able to just, like, read one article and figure out how to, like, solve this problem that's been going on for hundreds of years. But, you know, I will tell you that. You're right. I mean,
It's not a line.
There's that fair step.
I think it's on the other side. It's like a dog toy. I mean, what? Oh, I don't know what it is. Yeah. But, you know, by some definitions of the word species, a coyote is the same species as a dog, right? Because they're interfertile, but they have a different species name. But, you know, I will say that even Teddy Roosevelt, he came around. He championed predator extermination, but he eventually started thinking, you know, predators, they have their own certain beauty. They have personalities, they have intrinsic value, they have their own wants, and plus, they're part of an ecosystem. They've been here literally forever. So,
Science!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he never said, like, oh, let's stop killing predators. Like, I mean, he, like, if you go over to that Natural History Museum here in Manhattan, like, you can see a lot of stuff he killed. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, he didn't say stop killing them, but he did say let's think about this a little bit harder from now on. And then also a little bit later we had Rachel Carson's book Silent Spring, which, it was a very, very influential book. It basically opened people's eyes to the fact that the things we do to the environment can have unforeseen consequences, and they can ultimately harm humans too, like by bringing coyotes all over the country. No, this isn't actually Coyote. Yeah. You know, there aren't really a lot of pictures of people shaking hands with coyotes. So, you know, the truth is we're fully capable of really killing off other animals and destroying our environment and doing really awful things. But if there's one lesson to be learned from the Coyote Wars and also from climate change, it's that when you screw with nature, you end up screwing with yourself even harder. So, so let's raise a glass to the future of wildlife management, to the pursuit of peace among species to some extent, hopefully, and to not screwing ourselves too hard.
Thank you, everyone. Kristen, you spoke last October about the stories told by bones. You spoke in April about Kennewick Man.
Yeah.
You spoke tonight about the U.S. war on coyotes. That means that after your third talk, you can become an Odd Salon Fellow.
Woo.
Would you like to accept fellowship?
Yes, please.
Yes!